200 years ago in this world, the void was opened by a man named Theomore, forever known from that day forward as Wicked Theomore. Because through that void came all manner of dangerous creatures. Now, some thrived and some didn't. However, the most successful creature that came through the void were the Lynx. Big, powerful, winged creatures, sharp claws, menacing teeth, and a hunger for human flesh. But by far the most dangerous thing about the Lynx is their intelligence. They are as intelligent, and some would argue even more so, than humans. And so, 50 years after they arrived, the war began. A war for survival between the humans and the Lynx. It's been 150 years since the war began, and humanity is on the verge of defeat. Our story begins in one of many manufactories spread across this world. These are massive factories that humans use to create their weapons of war, and most of the workers live there. The foreman of this manufactory is a man named Grist, and he's angrily moving through it in search of a particular worker. Tian is working at her desk when her foreman suddenly bursts in and places a small device on her table. That device is called a hedron, and it's a vital component for one of humanity's most important weapons. That weapon is the clanker, a massive tank armed with javelins and spears. It can carry up to 10 soldiers with their equipment and has multiple legs that allow it to move through all kinds of terrain. But it's a very uncomfortable ride. Tian asks what she's done wrong, and he tells her that the last 3 hedrons she made all failed. This resulted in the loss of 3 clankers and 20 soldiers. She understands how bad this is, because if the manufactory were to run at maximum power, they'd be able to make 12 clankers, at most, within a year. Now, Tian is shocked by this because she takes great care in her work. In fact, she's one of, if not the best artisan in this manufactory. And she makes sure that every hedron is working perfectly before she hands it in. She takes out the crystal within the hedron and touches the pendant around her neck. By doing that, artisans like Tian can access the field. The field is an aura that comes from naturally occurring nodes spread out all through Santana. Artisans can visualize and manipulate the field to tune the hedrons so they can draw power from it. The hedron had some power, but it was a very small amount compared to what it should be drawing from the field. And without the power, the clankers are nothing but junk metal. Tian assures the foreman that she'll investigate this and fix the problem. Almost immediately, Grist then asks her when she's going to get married and have children. After all, she's 20 years old, and that is more than old enough to start bearing children. You see, because of the war, everyone has 2 duties. The first is to make use of the skills you have in order to help humanity win the war. That could be as a miner, a clanker operator, an artificer, etc. The second is to bear children so humanity's numbers can be replenished. Tian doesn't like the idea of this, and besides, she doesn't like any of the men in the manufactory. So she simply tells Grist that she's working on that too. Time passes. Grist has long since left, and Tian has had enough of work for the day. She decides to head out to the mine, hoping to meet up with her best friend in this world. She had to get past a couple of guards as she moved through the mine. It wasn't a problem though, as both knew her very well and were very friendly towards her. Deeper down the mine she went until she spotted her friend. Joan was a wise old man, at least in his 70s. After a short greeting, Joe offers Tian his food because he's not happy with how skinny she looks. She tries to protest, but Joe isn't having it. While eating, they have a long chat. Tian talks about the issues with the hedron, clankers, and soldiers that died. Joe also talks about the loss of his wife and son due to the war. A while later, they bid farewell to each other. Joe heads towards the miner's village, while Tian returns to her room in the manufactory. She makes a detour to her office instead, as she wants to investigate the faulty hedron. Artisans can be trained to become better, but it is a skill that you are born with. The pendant around her neck is called appliance, and every artisan has to make their own to prove their worth. It is an artisan's badge of honor, maybe even their soul. Tian touches the appliance, and through her mind's eye, she enters the field. It's a dangerous task, as it could bring about hallucinations and even madness. Many artisans have been lost while they tuned the field. She works on the field for some time, but ends up with the same result: a crystal that doesn't draw enough power. Hungry and tired, she decided to end her investigation for the day and go to bed. Unlike most, rather than sleeping in a dormitory with others, Tian has her own room. A modest place, but she has her privacy, something very few people have. Tian slept poorly, and it was short as well. After getting dressed, she makes her way out, and as she opens the door, there stands the overseer of the manufactory. She steps back instinctively. He asks Tian how her investigation is going, and she tells him she has a few theories, but that she needs a little bit of time. After placing the other two faulty hedrons on her desk, he gives her an ultimatum. She has 1 week to fix the problem, or else he'll find someone else who can. And she'll be going to the breeding factory. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hopefully you're enjoying the story so far. If so, please like, subscribe, and leave any comments or suggestions you have below. And I'll see you all on the next one.